Tecno is not done yet. They released another one, the Camon 30s Pro. Let's talk about it. So this is Tecno's new addition to their Camon 30 series, but for some reason they did not launch it with the rest of the series back in April. Tecno is using this one as an opportunity to introduce wireless charging, making it the only other brand aside from Infinix that offers charging on budget phones. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is also the first phone to feature MediaTek's new Helio G100. Technically a refresh of the G99, but more details on that later. The Camon 30s Pro is priced at around 387,000 in Naira. That's around $230. I got mine thanks to Spectrum Phones. Huge shout out to them for this unit. I'll tag them or add a link in the description. So what you're looking at with the Camon 30s Pro is essentially a Spark 20 Pro Plus, but with better design, newer processor, better camera and wireless charging. And it comes with a wireless charging pad as part of the retail box. It also comes with a fine protective casing which has the same texture as what's on the back of the device, but it has magnets so you can attach a magnetic charger or power bank to it, like MagSafe. Without the case, you can't do that. Every other accessory is business as usual except for the added glass screen protector. No earphones in the box. The design on the Camon 30s Pro is mostly conventional with the rest of the Camon 30 series without round camera bump, but this is the first time we're getting a curved display on a Camon device. Now, while the rear of the Gold model features a leather finish, the area surrounding the camera ring has more of a matte finish and appears to be made of metal. If you look carefully, you'll also notice it extends to the side of the device, encasing the rear panel. Not sure if the other color options have this detail, but it's nice. Speaking of colors, there are three options: Pearl Gold, Interstellar Grey, and Shim Silver Green. Only the Gold gets a leather finish, but I believe they are all priced the same. Like the rest of the Camon 30 series, this has an indicator light near the camera ring. It comes on when charging or when using the camera for video, also when you have an incoming call. It sadly still can't be customized for other apps. On the top and bottom frame, you have grills for its impressive stereo speakers. They sound great. You also notice the IR blaster for your electronic devices. The Camon 30s Pro supports dual nano SIM cards but has no microSD card slot. It only comes in one memory configuration, that is 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. There is no headphone jack. Its display is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass and it's branded on the box, but there are no specifics on what level of protection. Probably Gorilla Glass 5, but I won't be attempting to find out. Now, in terms of visual quality, it is vibrant. That's it next to my S24 Ultra. It is 6.78 inches AMOLED with a 120Hz refresh rate. Also has a brightness of about 1300 nits, which I found good enough for use outdoors on a bright sunny day. In comparison with the Spark 20 Pro Plus I referenced earlier, this feels smoother and provides a much better experience. I complained about the proximity sensor on that one, with a lot of pocket dialing going on there, but that's not an issue here. If you're wondering why I'm referencing the Spark 20 Pro Plus so much, it's because they have a lot in common, and I'm trying to give you an answer which is a better device without necessarily doing a separate video. This one costs more though. So the display is great, it is smooth to operate, and it's vibrant. You have an optical fingerprint scanner on the display. It's responsive and it works well. The hands-on feel of the Camon 30s Pro is solid for the most part, except that the haptics are not the best I've handled for a device at its price. While it's functional, the haptic feedbacks feel slightly stronger than it should, and there is no option to adjust its intensity. For the software, I want to say it feels more polished, but it's still not quite as polished as you might want. It is still iOS with slight visual improvements and some cool features like AI Eraser and the ChatGPT powered voice assistant. The multitasking here is on par and to some extent even better than most of the competition thanks to the Smart Panel and Smart Hub. It is mostly similar software experience as the highly impressive Camon 30 Premier, but it still has the bloatware and ads problem. I've used other Tecno phones, Camon included, with no ads or much less bloatware experience. This one seems to embrace it more by serving pop-up notifications from apps I've never even opened. The good news, of course, is that they can be uninstalled or notification access can be restricted, but I would have appreciated not getting those if I've never used the app. This is of course common with most budget phones, so it's not really a deal breaker. I can assure you there is way worse. I won't mention names, but you can probably guess. It is iOS version 14 based on Android 14. Tecno promises 2 major OS upgrades with an extra year of security updates. While working on this video, I was going to complain about them not honoring it, but then I powered on the Phantom X2 Pro and saw Android 14 update for it. That was the first phone they officially pledged 2 years of OS upgrades for, and it's nice to see them living up to it. So there's a very good chance they will honor it here too. As we already know, the Camon 30s Pro supports MediaTek's new Helio G100. A Helio processor here means there is no 5G support. You can always go for the more powerful Camon 30 Pro 5G though. That's a much better device and costs way more too. The Helio G100 is a refresh of the G99, which major manufacturers have relied on over the last 3 years, so we could say this is a much needed refresh. The performance is mostly the same, but this does not mean it's not a better processor than the G99. For one, it has better network reception over 4G. You can call it 4.5G as Tecno brands it, and from my usage, I can't argue, it is faster than the typical 4G speed. The G100 also supports better display and camera tech. It's probably the reason Tecno is boasting clear 100 megapixel shots on a 50 megapixel camera, but let's save the camera talks for later. The performance is that of a sub-mid-range device, nothing exceptional, but it stands above the budget category. It games just fine, but at low to medium graphics settings. No heating concerns, same level of optimization we got with the G99, and that was great for budget phones. Its major weakness is not being able to reach high graphics settings, but gameplay is usually stable and doesn't give any heating concerns. PUBG by default allows HD graphics and high frame rate, and you can get ultra frame rate when the graphics is set to balanced or smooth. Battery life has never been a concern with Tecno phones to the best of my knowledge, including all the ones I've handled, and I've had no issues here either. The Camon 30s Pro supports 45 watts fast charging, and we get the brick in the box. The wireless charging pad it comes with is 15 watts, but it supports up to 20 watts of wireless charging. Also supports reverse wireless charging, so you can use it to charge other accessories or your other phones should the need arise. Its 5000 mAh battery lasts long enough to take the average user through a day. I had it on a trip with me to Abuja last weekend, and I made use of the cameras throughout the trip. Did not need to recharge during the day. Now let's discuss cameras. You see this massive camera layout here. It only houses one useful camera, the 50 megapixel main camera, which surprisingly takes really impressive photos for a phone at this price point. It's not much of a surprise because it uses Sony's IMX896 sensor, different from what's on the higher Camon but capable. It takes vibrant pictures with good detail. The Helio G100 allows you to capture really good 100 megapixel photos through pixel binning, and the results are better than your average pixel binned photos on budget phones. There's also this thing Apple and I believe Xiaomi does with some of their devices where the camera provides 3 different focal lengths like it's 3 different cameras, but it's just one doing the job. The Camon 30s Pro can do something similar. It can take photos at 3 different focal lengths, 23, 35 and 50mm. The result is surprisingly sharp even to the 50mm shot, although you start to notice some over-sharpening if you pay attention to the details. It also produces good results in low light. The selfie camera is where I feel it lacks a bit in the processing of skin tones. It does great, but it could be better. It's a 50 megapixel shooter and can take some good photos if used right. One limitation of the Camon 30s is the inability to record videos in 4K resolution. The most we get here is 2K at 30 FPS. It can also do 1080p 60 or 30. It has optical image stabilization on the rear camera, so you get good stable footage, especially when recording in 1080p. So yeah, this is Camon 30s Pro. Google flew us to Abuja. I'm guessing for some flexing, call it that. But yeah, this is 1080p 30 FPS from the selfie camera. In summary, the Camon 30s Pro is a good phone from Tecno. It's reasonably priced too. This sits somewhere between the regular Camon 30 and the 30 Pro 5G. I like that they opted for the new Helio G100 processor. As much as it does not offer significant performance boost over the G99, I'd take the newer version over that G99. It's already overused. The fact that it offers wireless charging and actually comes with the wireless charging pad in the box is commendable. The cameras are solid and arguably among the best in its price range. A curved display on the Camon series is also a nice touch, but Tecno should still tone down the ads, make iOS a little lighter. The haptics, while not a deal breaker, could be better. Maybe a setting to adjust the intensity of the vibration. You can hear it when you type. Literally. You can hear that. 5G on this would have been awesome, but that's also not a deal breaker as there's only one phone that supports 5G in this price range for this region, and that's the Samsung A25. I might be wrong, but feel free to correct me. So that's it. I can recommend this as a good one. It's not perfect as expected for a $230 phone, but it's solid. And I'm done. Catch you in the next one.